fresh out the oven. What is cracking, everybody? It's MegapiemanPHD here, and welcome to a look at my map sort of video thing. Now, as some of you may know, I have been mapping in Source. I've been doing it for a little while now, but I just never really made anything that was any good. So I didn't really put any videos out. But then I put out the video going over the map I was making for the 72-hour TF2maps.net contest, and that seemed to go over pretty well. People seemed to enjoy that video, and they seemed to like it. So I thought I would show off maybe a couple more of my maps. I don't know how many of them I want to show off because they're not good. They're definitely not good, so I don't know if I should bother showing them off, because a lot of them I'm not working on anymore, just because I don't like them. But this was a Counter-Strike Global Offensive map that I was making for the CEVO 2014 mapping contest. Now, how often do I play Counter-Strike? Never. I do not enjoy Counter-Strike. I find that Counter-Strike takes itself way too seriously, and I don't really enjoy the community of people, nor do I really like the game, because compared to TF2, which doesn't take itself really seriously at all, has a much more interesting and fun community, in my opinion, and I just enjoy that game a lot more. Counter-Strike, I mean, there's a lot to it. It's not a horrible game. I just don't like it, so I don't play it a lot. So when it comes to making a map for Counter-Strike, it's a little bit difficult for me just because I don't play the game a lot, but I do really understand how making maps and balancing them in Counter-Strike works for the most part. I've got a good idea of how that works. So that's what I really worked for in order to make this map. This is DE Wharf A4. Now, I made this map in around 10 or 11 days. Instead of the actual 3 months that I had to make a map for the CEVO contest, just because I didn't have any ideas. That is messed up in there for some reason. For some reason, this is the second time I actually entered a CEVO contest. The one I entered for 2013, that map was even worse than this. But a lot of the problems I have when it comes to mapping is just I don't have ideas of what to do for the maps. So this one, I kind of had, like, a wharf idea. We'll make a wharf, we'll put, like, cargo stuff over the place, and we'll make a warehouse, and we'll see how that goes. And it went okay. I feel that this map, it's not good, but it did better than I felt that it was originally going to do. So right now, we're right here. This is the terrorist spawn in this sort of warehouse. You've got confiscated money that was maybe stolen in the back of this truck. You've got guns. You've got more money over here. So it's all, like, kind of bad guy stuff. I don't know. Figure it out for yourself. And then if we go over this way, we can lead out to this direction, where you can either shoot these windows over here and shoot dudes that way, or go out through this part of the warehouse out here to this middle section, or go out through around these containers and come out over here by this road. And it is a very small map. As you can see, you just come out by this road, and then if you walk over here, go up this little bit of a ramp, and there is D already, not D, B. This is where the B site actually is, even though for some reason the overlays for where to place the bomb and the fact that the overlays saying that this is B aren't actually here. And I didn't know you could get on top of this roof. That probably would need to be fixed. Definitely need to be fixed. But I didn't know, I don't know where those overlays went. Those overlays are gone. But it's a very small map, and I didn't really have the time to do something super crazy, so I was like, okay, what is a decent layout that I could do very quickly? And the main thing that I wanted to focus on was just height and verticalness, which is something I'm really trying to focus on more in my mapping. A lot of my previous maps, when I was making maps for Dino D-Day about a year or so ago, when I first started mapping, because that's the game I first started mapping for, a lot of my maps were very, very flat. There wasn't a lot of verticality to them, which made them rather boring. So I've been trying to work on that with my TF2 maps. You saw a little bit of that with Farm 51 for the 72-hour contest, and I've been trying to work on that for my Counter-Strike maps, and any mapping that I'm doing now moving forward, I'm trying to work on making them both vertical, if not entirely vertical based, than just being horizontal based. Of course, this map also doesn't have any, like, background sound, and the 3D skybox basically doesn't exist. There is some fog out there. It does not match to the water like it's supposed to, making the effect that it's a horizon. It looks like crap. And the way that basically all I did for 3D Skybox is I put big walls around to try to block off parts of the map, because I didn't get to that part, which kind of sucked. This building is pretty cool. I like how this building turned out. It looks pretty nice. This building over here turned out okay. The inside's not that great. This door didn't really turn out the way that I want it to turn out, but it's what I can do with my current mapping abilities and the time that I had. So, as you saw there, B was over there. You can go through this building over here. I don't know why I put this window here. I thought about putting a window there, and then I was like, oh, well, then people can just stand here and shoot through it, so I made a solid window, and it just looks like crap. But then you have down here, this right here, this is their counter-terrorist spawn. I kind of got this idea by looking at Dust, which is a map that people really, really like. I think it's Dust 2. And the way that Dust 2 really works by making the spawns, the entire map is always useful in Dust 2. There's not a part of that map that is left to the side. In a lot of maps, you kind of have your spawn rooms, and then you'll branch out from the spawn room into the map, and you'll never go back to the spawn room unless you're respawning. So that's something I really wanted to work on, and that's why I put the counter-terrorist map is like right here in this area, which is a nice open area that's actually a pathway between both A, which is over in that direction, and B, which is over in this direction. And, of course, same thing with the warehouse. If you're the counter-terrorist, you then can go around this side and easily make your way over to the warehouse and instantly get into a gunfight right in this area, which is a problem I've been having with the bots. A lot of the bots, pretty much anytime I test this map with bots, since I haven't done a lot of nav mesh work, all the times, all the bots will go to, like, here, and then they'll just have a huge shootout right at that door. And that's what you get. So, unfortunately, this map isn't designed that great because this area over here isn't super interesting. I tried making it more interesting by having these different levels, by putting all this different cover around. I'm afraid that the map is a bit claustrophobic, but I did want to make the map more suited to all kinds of weapons, since a lot of Counter-Strike maps that I see are basically only suited to sniper rifles. And I don't like that. I don't like using the sniper rifles. That is all kinds of messed up for some reason. That ain't supposed to be there. So, there is some sniper rifle areas, like you have this big open area right here where you can snipe down this alleyway, and there's some other bigger opener areas, if that's a word. But, for the most part, it's based around a SMG to shotgun kind of an idea without being too cramped so that sniper rifles and longer ranged weapons will still work. That was my plan. I don't know how well that actually turned out, but that was the plan. Also, if you go around over here, of course you have this spawn right there. You can jump on top of this. Starting out here from the counter-terrorists, you have multiple options. You can either go this way, straight to the terrorist spawn. You can go into this building and head upwards to A, to cover A, or upwards to cover this middle building right here, which will give you a bit of an upwards advantage over anyone coming through that. And you can also go around this side to quickly go to B, either through that building down there, or come around to this side to try to get the drop on anybody who's coming from the terrorist side, either from this upward area. Go through here to get to the terrorist spawn area, or just go all the way around to the side to get to where B is. So I wanted to have a lot of pathways to give players a lot of different options, even because the map, it was a small map, so options are definitely very important when you have a map that is this small in general. You want players to have options of places to go. That is messed up again. I don't know why there's a lot of those being messed up, but of course you can like jump up here, jump up there, and then jump up there like that, and then get inside this building right here, and move all the way over this way to go to A, which has, I don't know if A has a lot of cover or not. At least these are showing up. A has got a decent amount of cover. You can also use A to get a nice height variant over people who are coming up this way, and use it to jump on top of this truck to get some more height variant. So you can come from over there, come from over there. To try to make this not as much of a, basically, people just nesting up in this area, I also added this pathway through this building over here, so you can come up behind anybody who's trying to nest up is the best word I can come with. It doesn't make sense, because the only time you say that is really with Sentry Gun. Nests for the engineer in TF2, and that's not this game. But So you have to cover both sides. You have to cover this building when you're standing in here, and you can also cover out over here, so you have some nice long distance, and you can come over here and you still have some longer distance covering up that area. So that was the plans behind that one. Of course, I don't know how well any of the stuff that I'm talking about actually works in practice, because I didn't have a way to actually practice against real people. The only practice I had was against stupid bots that I didn't actually build a nav mesh for. And Counter-Strike Global Offensive is one of the newer Source games, so a lot of it is trying to make things look good. It uses a lot of bloom and everything to make Counter-Strike and Source look a lot better than Counter-Strike Source did, to try to improve the graphics. And I am not really that super great at doing that kind of thing yet. I am not that great at making a map look pretty. I can do okay with TF2 because TF2 is a lot more simpler. But when it comes to a thing like Counter-Strike, which tries to look somewhat realistic, I'm not there yet. It's getting there. It's taken a while, but it's getting there. And this map doesn't look super pretty. Doesn't really look pretty at all. But then again, that's what happens when you spend like freaking 10 to 11 days on a map instead of like 3 months like I was freaking supposed to. But you can also get on top of this roof if you crouch jump appropriately. Come on, I was literally just up there. Why can I not get on top of this roof now? I was in it was 1 second ago. You saw it. You definitely saw it. Hiya! There we go. There we go. Now I'm on the roof. Okay, that's supposed to be easier than it. But you can get on top of this roof and shoot at the people over there at A from on top of this roof. But that's pretty much it for DE Wharf A4. I don't know if there's any point in continuing work on this map. Layouts. How do you make a good layout? That's what I want to know. I'm not good at it. I'm okay at it. I have an okay understanding of Counter-Strike to try to put a good amount of cover and try to make a decent amount of layouts that cater to both different pathways to go as well as different weapons. Making a map in Counter-Strike's a lot different than making a map in Team Fortress 2. I can say that much just because they rely on different things. There are some things that are the same. There are some things that are different, like in TF2, you have to really worry about sightlines because of snipers, but in Counter-Strike, you don't have to worry about sightlines because anybody can use a sniper. So, sightlines are both more and less important. They're more important because you want to have more of them so that anyone at any time can use a sniper rifle, but unlike TF2, whereas you have to worry about sightlines being overpowered with being dominated areas with snipers, this you kind of just have to worry about the fact that there's going to be a lot of different weapons and try to cater to as many as you possibly can. So that's the map. I don't know how good it is. I don't know how bad it is. It's probably pretty bad. I would not be surprised, but it's the second Counter-Strike map I've ever made. So I think it's pretty good for that. The original idea I had for the map for this particular contest wasn't working out pretty well. It was a weird idea of like a university library, and then I got to thinking, maybe that's a bad idea, because it was going to be kind of based off of Rainbow Six's university library map, because I played Rainbow Six a lot, and Rainbow Six Vegas a lot, and that game had that map, and that map was played a lot, but then there was the whole college shooting crap that was going on, so I didn't think about that, and I was like, that probably won't go over well. I don't think people would really like if I did that, so I decided to do this instead. And it's not great. There's like this piece of wood is only here to cover up a freaking mess up and displacements because they suck at displacements, and the same thing with that one. That piece of wood is there to cover up a mess up with displacements. But there is something that I think really cool with this is I figured out how to make custom blend textures. So as you see right here, this texture that goes to the gravel to the asphalt, I actually had to customly make that. I didn't customly make the texture, I made the blend so that the two textures that already existed blended together. I did a couple of those throughout this map. If we go over here to where this area is, I made the custom blend texture that took the grass that was originally blended with just this gravel, and then took that so that it blended with this cement over there, so that you have that nice grass patch that slowly goes into the cement. So it works. It's not pretty. It's probably not good, but it was the best that I could do, and one of these days I need to spend more time on actually making a map. instead of just like 72 hours or 11 days. I did actually put a lot of time into making the map. And a lot of the maps that I try to do, like I put a couple months or so into making the map, eventually it's like I either make them too big and I stop caring about it, or it's just I put a lot of work into it. It looks like crap, and I don't like it anymore. The layout sucked. It looks like crap. I already put a couple months of work into it, but I just don't like it, so I'm not going to work on it because I don't like it anymore. Because it's crap. And it's like, why continue to put a lot of work into something that's crap? So, yeah. Anyway, that's the map. Let me know what you think. I'm going to go maybe do something else. And I don't know if I want to keep on working on this map or not, or if there's even a point to it. I got ideas for another Counter-Strike map that I'm actually going to try to put a lot of work into, so I might do that. It'll not be a DE map, because Demolition, or I think it's Demolition, Demolition is not only is it the most popular thing for Counter-Strike, it's also one of the hardest things to map for, in my opinion, because you have to make sure that everything is very, very fair. And it's kind of an obtuse thing to have to map for, so it's a little bit strange. But anyway, I want to stop rambling and enjoy the rest of your day. And I'm Mega Pie Man. Talk to you guys later.